everybody, welcome to yoga. Thank you for joining me wherever you are in your week or in your day. I hope that today blesses you in some way. So follow along. Today all you need is some space with possibly a hard floor to balance on, maybe a chair or a wall. So if you can find a space where you can lean up against a wall, that would probably be good, or something to put one hand on for balance. We will be standing quite a bit today. So we're just gonna start standing in our mountain pose, palms facing forward, tilting the eyes downward. So the chin stays parallel to the floor. The eyes look down at the floor. And this is just an effort to turn inward. So we're trying to take our focus from outside of our body, anything going on beyond what you are doing here. Let's put our focus back here on your breath, starting there. So we'll just notice our breath, how it's coming and going. Hopefully as you follow that breath and you imagine it coming into your body, you can start to focus on areas of your body that might be tense, might be holding stress. Maybe you find an area that has a ton of energy. So we're not only looking for negative or stressful things, but also just positive things. Maybe there's a lot of energy in a particular area of your body. Maybe you can find an area as you breathe in, just let your mind focus on areas of your body that might have a lot of movement, a positive kind of movement. Maybe you are able to focus on areas that don't have a lot of movement, that maybe have blockages. That could be emotional or physical. So take a moment to notice those things. And then finding an area that feels particularly open and free. Surely there's a space in your body somewhere that feels free. Maybe free to express, maybe just free from tension or pain, just free, your definition of free. Why do we do all of those things? Because it's so important to know yourself. And we get wrapped up in the day-to-day and the stressful things of our week, or even just our tasks and checklists, and we don't recognize how we even feel. So we're not trying to necessarily change anything about that right now, we're just becoming aware of it. So let's take one more breath here, just noticing your breath. Inhale, try to get a deep breath this time. If you've been shallow breathing, we're gonna purposefully take a deep breath in. And then purposely, slowly exhaling. Let's start to use our movement with our breath. So we sweep the arms up, turn the palms facing up. Sweep up, look up. As you exhale, just bring the hands through heart center. Let the thumbs kind of trace a trail right down the middle of your body. Great, inhale, sweep it up, big breath in. We're inhaling and exhaling through the nose only right now. So if that is impossible for you, if you have seasonal allergies or you just can't breathe well through your nose, feel free to use your mouth on the exhale, trying to inhale with your nose though. And that's just to help us control that breath, is really the purpose there. One more time, inhale and reach up. Okay, like I said, we're going to be standing quite a bit today. Finding some place that you have a little space on the wall or a chair for balance. We're gonna start with our sun salutation. We will hang out in a forward fold position for a little bit of that time, so be prepared for that. And I'm gonna start facing sideways just so that you can kind of see the profile of what the sun salutation looks like. There are modifications for everything that we do, so I'll probably speak those. If you're watching me, follow along with what I do and see if you can do what I do. If you can't, that's when you modify. Okay. So toes together, heels just slightly apart, and we have all 10 toes spread out on the mat. We're not gonna start hip distance apart, so make sure your big toes are touching. And then as we turn the palms facing forward, I'm gonna keep rotating those palms just like we did before. As we sweep the arms up overhead, we look up overhead, We just tap the fingertips together before we go right back out. Swan dive, keep the legs straight for as long as you can. Once you feel that tug on the hamstrings, we're gonna bend and curl over. This is forward fold. Swan dive into forward fold. Deep bend through the knees, so we're relaxing the belly on the thighs. The arms round over, the head falls toward the floor. So crown of the head toward the floor. Let's just kind of nod yes and shake no there. Just kind of get some loosening through the neck. Let the arms dangle. The spine is rounding, so we've got a lot of space developing in between the vertebrae here. If you feel a lot of pressure in your head, that's okay. That's good blood getting into the brain and all the little areas of the head that we don't often allow a surge of blood to come into, and that could really heal any kind of sinus issue you have. Sometimes healing headaches too. All right, our next breath, then we're gonna lift halfway. So inhale, flatten out the spine, straighten out the legs, and let's just lift up so that we're kind of in this monkey posture. Fingertips reaching toward the floor. Spine is long, belly is in tight. Inhale here. Exhale, collapse back down to our forward fold. And we're gonna reverse swan dive. So take that out and up all the way. Inhale, look up. Exhale through heart center one time. And we're gonna go all through that again, moving a little bit faster. So back to our mountain pose, toes together, hands out to our sides as we inhale, sweeping up. Tap fingertips together, swan dive, forward fold. On your very next breath, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, collapse. Inhale, reverse swan dive. And through heart center. Very good. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Inhale, sweep up. Swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, collapse. Hands to the floor, out, not quite to the edge, but leave yourself some space here. We're gonna step back to a plank position. Get into your plank position, nice strong plank. Shove those heels back to the wall behind you. Nice tight core. Take a big deep breath in here, and you can be on your knees if you need to. But then we're gonna shoot those hips up into the air for downward dog. So even if you are on your knees, try to meet me here in downward dog. We're gonna walk our dog real quick. So let's push one heel to the floor and then the other. Letting the hips kind of sink one to the side and to the other side. Finally, let's press both heels into the floor. On our next breath, we're coming back to that plank position and then lowering for chaturanga. So we go way forward on the hands here. Elbows in as we lower. Now you have options. You can squeeze and lift for baby cobra, or you can push yourself up into upward facing dog. Then from here, right back to our downward dog. Let's do that again. So inhale to plank or modified plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward dog or baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back to downward dog. Very nice. Go through that whole series right there on the ground on your own. So I'll talk you through it really quick. You're in downward dog. You move forward to plank position. So instead of watching me, I just want you to feel what it feels like in your own body. As you lower down, your elbows are in nice and tight. Squeeze and lower. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Get that nice back bend. Then exhale, back down to the floor. Your inhale is back to your downward dog. So everyone in downward dog, we're gonna walk our feet forward. So just take a few steps here until your toes come to meet your hands. We bring the toes together, we round over, we're in forward fold again. Our whole series, we're lifting halfway. Exhale, collapse. Inhale, reverse that swan dive out and up. Through heart center. Inhale, sweep it up. Swan dive and fold. Hands to the mat, step back to plank. Down dog. And then on your next breath to our chaturanga. Upward dog. Back to Downward dog, very nice. Let's take the right leg into the air and step it through. Hang out in our lunge for just a second. Get a nice deep runner's lunge here. Stretching the hip flexor. If you need to put the knee on the floor, you can. Tipping the head down, we'll step all the way forward. Toes together, heels apart. Inhale, halfway lift. So hopefully you're a little bit familiar with the process now. Exhale, collapse. Reverse your swan dive out and up. Feeling some warmth develop. That is the point of our sun salutation, to get warm. Swan dive, fold. Hands to the mat, sit back with the left foot. Then the right foot, plank, down dog. Through a little vinyasa here. Upward dog. Down dog, left leg into the air. Step it through. Nice deep runner's lunge. Shove that heel in your long leg back toward the wall. You'll feel a little more stretch. If you're on your knee, you're just trying to make sure you've got enough space between the heel and the knee. We don't want this heel coming up off the ground. If it is, wiggle your toes out a little bit further. Take a big deep breath. Step that foot together with the other foot. Toes together, heels apart. Rounding over into our forward fold. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale, collapse. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Exhale through heart center and back to mountain pose. Notice your breath as we pause here. Is it coming faster? Are you having to take a little bit quicker inhale, quicker exhale to accommodate your heart rate going up? So let's just notice that. Take notice of every little thing. Controlling your breath. If you feel like you need to pant, out of control, this is where you really get to practice that. Deep inhalation, maybe 2 counts. Quick exhale. And we're creating a pattern of inhale and exhale, and you get to control all of it. Your lungs aren't squeezing out of control. Mercy. My dog is tearing up her bed. I'm sorry for the noise. All right, is everybody good there? Felt really nice to get warm. So we're gonna get into some deeper stretching as well as balance. So balance and stretching at the same time is definitely difficult. I want you to have a wall or a chair if you need one, okay? I'm gonna back up just to demonstrate what this would be like if I was up against the wall, and then I'll move off of the wall too to show you it both ways. So all we're gonna do here is, as we put our backs up against the wall, let's have our right knee, and for you guys it might look like a left knee, so you can mirror me or follow my verbal instructions, either way. But we're going to pull the right knee up toward the chest and just kind of hold it there for a second. So right now my arms are completely straight, and I'm just holding on the outside of my knee and trying to feel that balance on my left leg. So if you are up against a wall, then what I want you to do is get to where your heel's a little further away from the wall. Allow some room for some backside area there so that you can kind of push off and practice standing on one leg. Now this is something that as we age doesn't come naturally. We lose our balance. If we don't practice it, we will lose it. So if you start practicing now, as you get older and you age, this will not be so difficult. And nobody wants to lose their balance and fall down and break something as we age. So let's practice together. So as we practice holding, we'll hold and breathe, take a breath here. And then let's see if we can hug that knee up just a little bit closer. Again, if you're on the wall, just kind of lean up against it for a second, then maybe push off and try to just stand here without holding onto the wall, and you're hugging that knee up kind of as close as you can get from the outside, so you're squeezing it nice and tight. Again, nice deep breath. Okay, we're gonna start to use this leg for rotation, so you can drop it for a second, shake out your standing leg, give it a minute to rest because we're gonna get right back to that in a second. So all we're gonna do here, I'll show you first. I'm leaning up against the wall right now. I'm gonna take my right leg and my right arm, rotate it out, and I'm trying to get it as close to out and up against the wall as possible. So you're trying to get your knee out up against the wall. But for now, just go as far as you can. Then we're going all the way back down, back to the center, all the way out and around. If you want to challenge your balance and step away, and you feel like you can, step away from the wall, turn it out to the side, all the way down and through and around. So we're doing two things here. We're working on balance on our standing leg, working on opening and rotating through the leg we're using. Two things at once. It's a lot to think about, I realize. You can do it. Continue breathing. No holding our breath. Now when we balance, it's kind of a habit for some of us maybe to hold our breath as we do when we work out. So let's keep breathing and change your rotation to go out, in, and down. Good. Twice more. Out, in, and down. One more time. Very nice. All right, shake out your standing leg. Good job. I can feel that just a little bit. It's almost kind of like a mini workout. Really good for us. Good through the hip flexors. Good to be able to feel that tension. Okay, so how's your balance on the left leg? Just kind of take a moment to assess how you feel like that went. If you need to do this next part against the wall, maybe you start there and then move out just a little bit. So you might want to create a situation where you're kind of leaning against it at first, then you can push off and test your balance, okay? Because it's going to get a little bit harder here. All we're going to do is lift the knee up to the chest. This time we're grabbing under, okay? So as we do that here, you can relax your leg into your hands for a moment, but in just a second, you're gonna have to use that leg. So prepare by squeezing the low belly muscles in, and then we're gonna pull that knee up kind of close to the chest like we did before, except on the underneath side. We're gonna take the opposite hand. So I have my right leg in my right hand. My opposite hand, I'm gonna take my peace fingers, reach down and grab my big toe. Once I get that and I feel pretty stable here, like I have a good secure, and I'll get a little bit closer and show you guys what this looks like. You've got peace fingers around the toe with the thumb on top. Okay, so that's how I'm hanging on super tight to my toe. As I get there, wrap it around, get that good secure position. I'm gonna straighten my leg out as much as I can, and here I am balancing. So my right hand's free to touch the wall, or if you're up against the wall, you're just leaning backwards, okay? We're trying to get our back up completely straight, so as you stretch out, maybe you can't get your knee straight, or maybe your back can't come up and you're here for today. Maybe try to straighten out your leg and just have to bend over. That's okay too. Wherever you are, we're trying to get it straight out and straight up at the same time. I have tight hamstrings, so that's hard for me too. And so once you get that good grip, if you start to slip, just bend it back, get a grip on it. And now we're gonna change it just a little bit. So hang on to it for me. I'm just turning around so you guys can see what I'm doing. Straight out, I'm gonna take my right hand and open it up. So we're creating a twist situation. If you're against the wall, you can do this too. We're gonna hold for 2 more breaths. 1, 2. To come out, we're just gonna bend the knee, take that hand right under the thigh, lower it down, shake it out. Nice work, everybody. You'll have to let me know how that went for you on your left leg. So are we ready for the right leg? We're gonna do the same thing over here. So we'll take this one up, grab on the outside, and we're just gonna hold it here. So you can kind of challenge yourself to come away from the wall, see how you're feeling on this right side. And let me just go ahead and say that many, many times we have one side that we feel like cooperates better than the other side. And that is no different for balance. We may feel like I can balance all day long on my right leg and I can't do it for 2 seconds on my left leg. That's okay. That's what the wall is here for. That's why we practice on both sides. So what I would encourage you to do after today, if you don't know which side is your bad side, and I use that loosely because it's not bad, it's just not practiced. On your unpracticed side, then we're gonna start on that side every time, okay? Because that way we're not as tired and we can focus a little more on it. So on the right leg, we're just gonna hold it out. We've been doing that for a minute, so let's hug it in close. This is the same thing, just get it as close as you can. We're kind of stretching that glute underneath there and practicing our balance and see if we can stand on one leg here. If you can't stand on one leg here in this position, you're probably going to struggle standing on one leg when our leg is out straight. So just keep that in mind. Take one more breath. And we're gonna create some rotations. So use your hand against the wall if you need to. We're going up, out to the side as far as you can, and back down. If you want to keep your balance challenged, let go of the wall. You can even kind of use both hands to help guide that foot around. Remember your breath pattern. Notice if you feel maybe a little tighter on this side than you did the other. And then we'll reverse. We're going about 4 or 5 rotations. If you're moving slower than me, that's totally fine. If you're moving faster than me, that's totally fine too. Just get your rotations as big as you possibly can. Last one here. And then we will shake out our standing leg. Good job. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing we did before. We'll take that opposite hand to the toes as we hold under the thigh. Straighten out the leg, stretch, hold, and then we'll add the twist. Okay? So I'm gonna face the side that I'm twisting to this time so I don't have to stop in the middle. Let's grab underneath and hold that thigh out. Kind of letting your weight sit in your hands as they're clasped underneath. That's fine for now, but then you're gonna have to use some core muscles. So on our next breath in, let's squeeze the low belly muscles in nice and tight. Let's lift that knee up just maybe a little bit more so we can reach with our peace fingers. Grab that big toe, lock it in with the thumb. Belly is in tight, knee is up high, and then we're going to extend our legs straight out. Hold under the thigh, but remember it's your core that's helping you hold too. Try and get your back as tall as possible. Then when we're ready, add our twist. Changing the vision. That makes balance a little tougher, right? Let's breathe in. 2 more breaths here. 1. 2, return the hand, release the leg, and drop it down. Let's shake it out. Good job, you guys. I'm proud of you for trying, however far into that you got. Good job, and thank you for participating in balance today. We're gonna come down to a seated position. Scoot my mat a little bit away from the wall. And we're going to take our feet, bottoms of the feet, together in sort of like a diamond shape where we're just sitting up nice and tall. The hips should feel like you've been working on them, so they might be a little bit tight from helping to hold you up. So we're just gonna take a second to try to release some of that tension there. What I find for myself, whenever I practice balance, I tend to create more tension than I'm letting go. So I always make sure when I practice balance, at the end, I do spend some time just mindful relaxation, very purposeful. And so we're gonna do that here too. Just let the knees fall out to the side and we're just kind of hanging out here and giving them just a moment to open up. Hopefully that feels pretty good for you. And then we're going to switch it up just a little bit to get some inner thigh stretch, and then we're gonna lay on our backs and get a little bit more stretching too. Or actually it's gonna be some movement and relaxation. Let's take the right leg out to the side, just kind of the corner of your mat, not overextending. The left foot is gonna come to the inner thigh, so we're kind of in like a half straddle here. And we're gonna pull the toes up towards you on that right leg. Sit up nice and tall. And this might be enough of a stretch for you that you need the wall to help you sit up tall. If you do, great, do it. Because I want you to get tall and also where you can feel kind of both sit bones on the ground and you're not leaning off to the left. So let's try to relax there. Sitting up nice and tall here. And we're just gonna do a little side body stretch. So the same leg that you have sticking out, that hand is gonna go to the floor. So for me, it's right hand and right leg. My left arm is gonna come up by my ears and I sit nice and tall. I'm gonna slowly start to tiptoe my hand across the body and I'm just crisscrossing more or less my arms as I come over to the side. Nice, tall, long side body. You can look up at the hand if you want to, just to help twist open so you're not collapsing here. I'm going side body. Take a big deep breath. This does not have to be a deep stretch. It can be just a little bit. If you want to go deeper into it, you certainly can. and then we'll release. Very nice. Let's switch. Take the right foot in, left leg out. Make sure that other foot is touching the inner thigh. We'll just hang out here for a moment so you can get both sit bones on the ground. If you're really leaning far over, then what we're working to do is just release. Relax the hamstring. Relax the glutes. Relax any tightness that you have. Use the wall if you need to sit up nice and tall. We'll just take a big deep breath. Relax the shoulders. Pull the toes back on our straight leg and take that same hand to the ground. We'll take the opposite arm up in the air, reach nice and tall, and then slowly start to kind of crisscross, lean to the side, reach up and over, look if you'd want to. One more big deep breath here, guys. Great. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll actually bend both knees and twist around so that you can lay flat on your back. But we're gonna keep the knees pulled up and do a little bit of a IT band / outer thigh stretch here. So knees and toes together and heels are kind of close in. You might be able to reach down and feel them, but it's just more important that you can get your whole foot on the ground. We will crisscross the right leg over the left, and we're just gonna take those arms out to a T position so you have some space to let your shoulder blades and upper body relax. And then all we'll do here is take a big deep breath in. Long, slow exhale. And on our next breath in, we're gonna let the knees fall to the left. So we want whatever leg is crossed over, that leg will be on top. So big twist to the side. And just kind of come up onto the outer edge of that underneath leg of the foot and look out over the opposite shoulder. On our next exhale, we'll bring that knee back to center. Exhale, center. Inhale, fall to the opposite side. We're just gonna go over on the inside edge of your foot that's underneath. Let those knees fall to the ground. Shoulders stay pinned down. Let's look out over that opposite shoulder again. Notice the difference here, where you feel that stretching through your side body, possibly through your hip joints here, which might be tight. I think mine are always tight, so I will always feel this in my hips. Then on our next exhale, coming all the way back up to center. Adjust yourself back into the middle of your mat, switch legs. Cross it over, nice squeeze in the inner thighs. We'll take a big deep breath in. We're gonna fall to the right side first. So outside edge of the foot that's underneath first. Let it fall all the way over, big twist, and look out over your opposite shoulder. On your next exhale, squeeze, come back to center. Inhale, falling to the other side. Notice the difference on this leg, maybe even the difference from your previous leg. Looking out over the opposite shoulder, we just let it fall. Let that top leg, the point here is this top leg is heavy on the bottom one, right? So it's forcing that leg to stretch just a little bit more. If you feel pain or twinges that aren't natural or feel like they're not serving you, back off, take a break. We don't want any tears, pulls, or injuries. This can be an intense stretch. Exhale back to center. Very nice. Let's hug both knees into the chest. Little rounded spine here, little back massage, rocking side to side. Feels nice. All right, guys, you can either crisscross your ankles, rock yourself up to a seated position, or roll onto one side a little more gently and push yourself up. Either way. We're meeting back in a seated position together. All right, hands out onto the knees with our palms facing up. We're sitting tall. Let's take the shoulders up back and down a couple of times. If you haven't smiled yet today, take a moment to do that. Show your teeth, big grin. There's a lot to be thankful for. And I hope that you can search your heart, find some gratitude. I hope you were able to find some space in your body today. And I hope that as you stretch, you feel better and better and just less tense overall. So with that, let's take a big deep breath in, sweep it up. Hands to heart center. Namaste. See you next time.